Hello, my name is Joy Garrett Scales, and I'm the Hall Director for the North Avenue Apartments West Building. At Georgia Tech Residence Life, we are committed to providing strategic programming that addresses issues that our students and the Georgia Tech community as a whole face every day. One of the programs that we were proud to present in April 2009 to meet that end was entitled Reality Unveiled. This program exposes some of the injustices and issues people grapple with across the world every day. Although the themes students were exposed to in this program were harsh and sometimes difficult to comprehend, we were encouraged to know that students took the message to heart and were motivated to do something about these issues. After this program has finished, we encourage you to discuss your feelings and thoughts with your RA, PL, or fellow students. Communication, when exposed to real-life issues, is critical to the learning process and creating a plan of action. We thank you for your time and attention. The idea here is to present the room that's kind of really clean and nice and pretty, something like we would like to have in our own homes. But inside, it begins showing some of the facts and history about racism and some of the injustices that have happened in this country in terms of discrimination against blacks and other people of color. Towards the middle here, you will see a very bright description of what racism and stereotyping is, kind of a working definition of it. Further down the hall, you'll see the blacks only bathroom, which kind of gives you a really graphic and ugly version of what it might have been like. Up ahead is our immigration room. Basically what you can find in that room is just some facts about what the laws are here in the United States, some of the processes for becoming a legal immigrant. It also sheds some light onto some of the issues and concerns and injustices that some of the immigration population feels when coming to this country. This room is really focusing on drugs and alcohol in terms of addiction. So it covers many different types. And then we have some alcohol bottles and a simulated drug scene. We have some really nice visuals. In the bathtub, there are a few words that are kind of looking like they're going down the drain until you hit rock bottom, which is a pretty interesting graphic take on what addiction can do to you. This room is our sexism room. We are trying to show the different ways in which women have been socialized and exposing people to some realities of domestic abuse. We address stereotyping in terms of beauty and standards of beauty and what those images represent. The video is actually an interesting video that we found on YouTube of statements that were being made actually last year in 2008 about Hillary Clinton when she was running for president. So that's an interesting piece of this room. Now we're at the Poverty and Human Trafficking room. This room actually pairs poverty and human trafficking because in so many ways poverty can lead to human trafficking. Some of the areas that we cover in our presentation have to do with sexual slavery and prostitution, and also some forms of domestic violence and abuse. Right in front of you, when you first walk into the room, we have tried to simulate what it might look like for someone living in poverty, trying their best to cover themselves up with dirty sheets and old clothes and newspapers and things like that. One of the most visible things when you first walk into the room is the laptop showing some footage of gay rights activists who are protesting the passing of Proposition 8 in California. Another interesting thing about this room is it addresses issues of what it may be like to be a closeted gay or lesbian person in the community. So now we're at the genocide room. Much like the poverty and human trafficking, this is also a very heavy room for people to enter. You can see on the floor is kind of a simulation of police crime scenes to let you know that genocide represents people dying. One of the cool things about this room is the bucket of rice inside the drawer. It's supposed to represent one life per one grain of rice of how many people have died in genocide. This is actually my most favorite room. It's the room of hope. The idea behind this room is to kind of, after everything that everyone has seen, the idea behind it is to help people feel inspired or moved in some way to take action. At the same time, we're trying to give a happy, feel-good kind of atmosphere. So you notice the room is brighter than the others. There are some really nice quotes for people to feel good about. We have highlighted some individuals in the history of the world, actually, who've made significant impact with the work that they have done to help others. So this is the Wall of Healing. This is actually one of 2 walls of healing. This is the smallest one, but the most full at the moment. This is where students and staff who visited Reality Unveiled had the opportunity to write down how the displays or this exhibit has affected them.
Very powerful and mind-provoking, educational, sad, and motivational. Thank you.
I am so very lucky. How can I help others?
I feel so sad, yet inspired to make changes and fortunate for my blessings.
My heart ached.
I cried today for the first time in a month.
I feel I cannot sit around and do nothing anymore.
We call tech hell, while 90% of the world would call it heaven.
I'll change this. This has reminded me there are more important things out there than grades and jobs. Sometimes I forget.
Even in the darkest times, there is hope.